Hi, welcome to my live stream. This is just a random thought that I had when I was driving like 2 days ago, and I can't stop thinking about it. So I'm just gonna put it out here in case I forget it. It's like a dream. You know, sometimes when you dream of something and then you wake up and you're trying your best to remember it, but you can't. So it's like one of those things. And sometimes I'll have like a dream diary, but this is more of just getting it out here. So one day, maybe when I'm like 99, I can look back and see if I still feel the same way. Um, but yeah, besides just working all the time, which is probably what people online think I do, I do that. I feel like every single day life is just super busy and I barely have time to even like wash my hair or think. And it's just like work, 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 make money, meet friends, call my mom, talk to my family members, and just like it's almost like you have to it's everything is survival mode. Everything is survival mode, and I know I choose to make my life also very busy by taking on all these things, like working multiple jobs, trying to do social media at the same time, and just adding on all these different things to my plate. But ever since I was, like, a kid, like, ever since I was, like, under 10 years old, I've always thought about, like, "Okay, but what is the point of life, and, like, why are we all here?" And that's just it's very strange that that is my constant. So no matter how busy I get, it's like sometimes I'll be doing like a whatnot live stream where I'm working or I'm like listing something on eBay, and then randomly I'm just like, oh well, like what is life? Or like what is the point of life? And these thoughts just never really go away. And throughout my entire life, I've came up with so many random, and this video is not long enough. It's not possible because I still have to get back to work. But it's not possible for me to really even list all the many like imagination, all these different thoughts that came from my imagination of why we're here and what is the point of life. I'll give you guys a couple, I guess, that I've always kind of come back to. But when I was a kid, I used to think, okay, the point of life is maybe this is just like an endless circle where when you wake up, you're like, you could be like another person. Like, like nobody knows what happens after you die, but like, what if after I pass, like I wake up the next like I pass away as this person and then I'll wake up and I'll be like another person. So that's like one thought that I constantly had as like, okay, what if that not that that's the point of life, but what if that is what happens afterwards? So I think about like what happens at the end of a life cycle and I think about like, okay, well, why are we here? And then my thought when I was driving, and there's like a lot more of those thoughts, like all these random possibilities that just like pops up in my head. I don't know why. Maybe because I do have an interest in it because I think like work, love, friendship, like family, everything that matters to me, that's like all together here in one category. But then like I'm not sure if everyone needs to think this, but for me personally, I just will constantly go back to like, okay, well, what is the point of life or like what are we here or like what's the reasoning? And I think whether you are religious or not, that could be a thought that everyone could still think about. Like even if you believe in the Big Bang or you believe in like God or doesn't matter what you believe in, it could still be a wonder, like a thought, right? Like for example, if you might believe in karma, some people believe in okay, well, maybe I did this in a past life and then this is happening to me now. There's just so many different belief systems as to like how our world works, and I find that very, very interesting. But anyways, I'll go back to just this random thought that I had when I was driving 2 days ago that I never had before. Where you know how like when you're a kid, you don't know how to read and you don't know how to draw. You don't when you're young, you don't know a lot of things, and maybe you speak three different languages, or maybe you know how to read in a different language, and those are all things that we as humans have to take time and like learn. So I had this thought where what if kind of like reading a book in a different language, like if you put a Japanese book or an Arabic book in front of me, like I wouldn't know how to read it because I don't understand the language. What if like all the point of life, the reasoning in life, why we're here, and all these secrets that like we don't understand, and we're just living our life the way that society is now in 2026. What if we actually, even after millions of years or billions of years, all the truth or all the writing is actually on the wall, and what if we just don't know how to read it? Like, what if we're reading it in a wrong way? Or this is gonna sound pretty crazy, but like, what if you could read a life in a way, like images, and there's an actual way to like understand how to live and what to do in a lot of situations? What if that is like in the trees, or like not like literally written in the tree? Does that make sense? Like, what if it's like an alien language almost, or like a language that we do not understand, and basically the point of life or the secrets to life is like already in front of us, but even after, I guess, thousands and millions of years, humans are just still not able to comprehend that or understand it. And maybe we are not meant to. That I don't know. I didn't think further than that, but I was just kind of like, okay, well, either maybe that is a possibility and we're just not meant to understand it, or maybe that's a possibility and we're just not there yet. Like, even though humans have been around for so long, we just still haven't discovered it yet. Kind of like there's how we still didn't even uncover every single secret under the ocean, because you just can't go so deep in a lot of places, even with all the technology, or you can't go that far in space yet. I mean, it's supposed to be endless, right? Our world's just never ending, expanding. So maybe the secrets to the world is just like, it's here. And another way I guess I could put it is like, I do think that life as humans is kind of connected to the world in a sense, where how the trees have different cycles and how flowers have different cycles and how they can be planted as a seed, how humans are born, and then you grow old, or you have your prime as a flower or as a rose, and then you get older, kind of like how humans will eventually get wrinkles and get older, just like a rose will eventually have its like prime time and then it starts to fade, and the whole life cycle. That is kind of what I mean, but maybe on a way higher scale. Like, I think most humans can understand that, and how maybe some things in life just come and go, just like friendships come and go, um, bad things come and go, and good things come and go. So it's kind of like that in itself is almost like not a secret, but you have to live a while before you experience these things to like make the comparison with nature. And then what if in nature there's just so many more things that we just have not made that connection as humans? And there could be so many healing things in nature, and there could be just so many great things in our natural life, or like even including animals. Animals could be a part of it, or we could be in the same category as animals and just can learn from like the plant and just like the mountains and the oceans and just the way that this state of being of our planet is. Like, maybe that in itself is like a book that we just don't have the language or the understanding to read. So yeah, that was my random thought. I didn't want to forget it, so putting it out there. That's just like kind of hard for me to write down because I barely know how to explain it. So there's that. And like I said, there's just so many different little things I've thought out throughout my life that about why we're here. What is the point? And I do believe in karma. I do believe in karma though. Not that that is the point of life, although I've had a thought where like, okay, if you do believe that, some people say life is a game. Actually, that's joked about a lot. Like we're all just like a simulation. Um and like we could be inside a computer or somewhere, right? So you could, that could be, that's one thought process that a lot of people actually joke about on the internet. But what if it's that the one time I thought, if we are being watched, but not by another human, but if we are being watched by maybe like a greater being or an alien or whatever, something more powerful that has us here, kind of like a video game, and just like watching us, like what are these people doing, kind of like Sims. um Maybe karma is kind of like an underlying rule to it, where they'll watch us and know what we're doing, but then what if karma is something that is done by that greater power. Like, they will make sure that if you do something bad, then therefore occurs. Like, you get what you give out there. And then if you do really great things, then that's karma. And that's maybe being controlled by like this, I don't know how to explain greater power, because I think that when people think about greater power, and sometimes when I talk to other people and they're like, yeah, I believe there's a greater power too, but I think what we are imagining might be different. Like, maybe someone sees a man, maybe someone sees a woman, maybe you see something that is neither man or woman, and it could be something entirely different, as this greater power. So then, like, the greater power in my head has changed like throughout my life. I think when I was younger, I used to think it was like a man. And then now I don't really think of it like, when I think of like a greater power, I don't think of it as a man or a woman. It's more of just this like all powerful being that's just in control of it all, but they won't really do anything because it would be breaking the rules to kind of like interfere with life. So anyways, there's just so many random little things that pop in my head randomly throughout my day, but I kind of like it. I do think I like the almost like a distraction, or maybe that is like what I actually enjoy besides just working and making life work, because I have to pay my bills and pay taxes and try to buy a house and all that. And I love life as it is, as I just stated, like my everyday thing, what I wake up to do, all that. But then I also really, really enjoy thinking about like why we're here and if there's any greater purposes, which I do think that there are greater purposes to life. I do think that there are things that are more important, than just working every single day. I do think that that's something why I keep thinking about it more often than not, is because that's what my heart like really wants to do or is like curious about. And maybe that's even why I'm making this video, because I feel like I want to connect with people, and I think that's meaningful at the end of the day. I don't think we know why we're all here, and whether we know it or not on a conscious level, I do think that that kind of connects us all. Like, I think maybe people do bad things or good things and all these things, and at the end of the day, it's like we don't really know why we're here. We don't know why. There's just so many, like, humans make so many laws and rules, but then at the end of the day, you don't know so many things, and that might cause anxiety and stress in a lot of folks. That might be an underlying like motive to do good or bad for some people in this world. But yeah, I think that connects humans, the fact that we don't really know why we're all here. And it could be a beautiful thing, it could be a not so beautiful thing. It all depends on kind of how you react to it. So anyways, just putting that out there. I think later on I will, when I have more time, I want to make like a list. I probably have a note somewhere of like all these different possibilities of why I think we are here. Maybe I'll make a video about that next time once I have it more clear on a note. So anyways, if you did watch this, hopefully that wasn't insanely confusing. I hope you have a wonderful day. And this is my second channel if you are new here. Main channel is somewhere in the description. I always make sure that my YouTube videos, because that's where you can put the longest description box, has all of my platforms. If anyone is talking to you and they're not under my description box, then it's not me. So yeah, please go and follow the other platforms if you want to. And I appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, take care, guys. Bye.